Okay, guys, so we're starting a new unit. Hopefully you have both parts of the Hawks test passed. If you have not done that yet, then you need to make sure you get that done. So with this new unit, we're going to kind of lead into graphing and talk about all the types of equations that you can use to graph, and then we get into a little bit harder stuff. But the first two or few lessons aren't too bad. So today we're going to talk about the distance formula, the midpoint formula, and slope and graphing that. So just as a reminder, the distance formula, all right, is the distance between 2 points, and we represent it as the square root of x2 minus x1 squared plus y2 minus y1 squared. It doesn't matter which point we choose to use first, as long as we use the x and y from the same point first in that equation. Midpoint formula, the midpoint of the segment joining the points is given by this equation, x plus x, and you could say 1 and 2 divided by 2, y plus y divided by 2. And that's going to be a coordinate, right? So this is just a coordinate pair composed of the average of the x's and the y's. And then lastly, if you have slope, which is y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. And hopefully you remember that one, aka it's rise over run. So consider the points 3, -1 and -4, 2. Find the distance, midpoint, and slope between the 2 points. So that's exactly what we're going to do. So distance. Okay, I'm just going to go ahead and label this x2, y2, x1, y1. So distance would be the square root of 3 minus a -4 squared plus -1 minus 2 squared. So in this case, it's going to be 7 squared plus -3 squared. And the reason why we put it in parentheses is because you're always going to have a positive number when you square it. Right, so this equals the square root of 58. You always try to see if you can simplify it, right? And we've been doing this for a while now. This one you can't, so the answer would just be the square root of 58. Midpoint, same thing. I'm going to take my x's and add them and then divide them by 2. And I'm going to take my y's and add them and divide them by 2. If you get a fraction, that's fine. So this first one, it's -1 over 2. The second one is 1 over 2. Again, if you get fractions, that's fine. Just leave it as a fraction. Enter it like that. Slope. All right, same thing. I'm going to do y minus y. So -1 minus 2 over 3 minus a -4, which would be -3 over 7. And that is your slope. You simplify the fraction if you can, but in this case you can't. So that's how you find all 3 things. And you guys are going to practice that on a problem later and do those by yourself. So they also like to throw word problems at you. So it says your itinerary contains a grid map of Paris, which each unit on the grid representing 0.5 kilometers. At the Louvre Museum is located at 2 -4, and Les in the Dallas is located at 8 -5. What is the direct distance, not walking distance, which would have to account for bridges and roadways between the 2 landmarks in kilometers? So direct distance means we're going to do the distance formula. So I'm going to take 2 minus 8 and square it, plus -4 minus a -5 and square it. So it's -6 squared, plus this would be 1 squared. So it ends up being the square root of 37. And guys, what you do is you're going to take the square root of 37, and then you're going to multiply it by that 0.5 kilometers, because we're looking at a map, and we're going to use the distance they tell us to figure out how many kilometers it is. So you actually want to type in the square root of 37. Yes, you're going to get a weird decimal, times 0.5, and it says round to 2 decimal places. So this becomes 3.04 kilometers. Again, it's not hard, it's just using the distance formula, and you have to make sure you know, like in this word problem, all right, I'm using the distance formula because it says direct distance. So independent practice for you guys. I want you to pause the video and go ahead and try this right here. I'm just going to put the work with the answer. I'm not going to explain it. Length means distance formula, just so you guys know. So hopefully you solved it all as you pause. So it should be 2 squared is 58. There you go. That's the correct answer. My slope is over here. Just simplified it. We'll hop back to that. And you would get, see, it's positive 3/7. Okay. So hopefully you got those answers. If not, make sure you check the work, pause the video again, and see it. Sketch a line with the given slope passing through the point 2, -1. So you're going to plot 2, -1. This first one, we're just going to draw a straight line. Remember, slope is rise over run, so we're going to put this as 2/1 because it's just by itself. A number by itself is always over 1. So I go from my point, and I go up 2, right 1. Up 2, right 1. Up 2, right 1. Up 2, right 1. Or I can go down 2, left 1. Down 2, left 1, right? And you would eventually connect all those. Try to draw a line as straight as I can. So that's that one. Next one, make a dashed line. It's -3/1, so I go from the same point, but I go now down 3, right 1, down 3, right 1. Or I can go up 3, left 1. It should be something like that. Next one they give you is 1/3. All right. So I go up 1, right 3, up 1, right 3, or I can go down 1, left 3. Make this one super long dashes. If you ever see a slope of 0, this is a special line. This is a horizontal line. So that means I just go through the point as a horizontal line. Lastly, you got -3/5, so I just go from the point. What I like to do is go down 3 and up, or right 5. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I can go up 3, left 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. Another special line that we talk about a little bit is if your slope is undefined, it's going to be a vertical line. Okay? And the other thing that shows up on Hawks is coordinate proof. The big thing with this, so it says plot the points 2, 1, 4, 0, so 2, 1, 4, 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 0, and 5, 7. And we'll label these A, B, and C. So A, B, C. I would definitely graph it. It helps to kind of see the picture. Okay, but if I want to show it's the vertices of a right triangle, I need to prove this is a right angle. So in order to do that, I needed to have opposite reciprocal slopes. All right, and if you look at AC and AB, that's the ones I'm talking about. So those segments. So AC, I would do 7 minus 1 over 5 minus 2, which is 6/3, which is 2. Awesome. AB is 0 minus 1 over 4 minus 2, which is -1/2. So if I take this and I flip it and change the sign, I get that, which means they're opposite reciprocals, which proves it's a right triangle. So yes, right triangle. If it's not a right triangle on the Hawks, it's going to be isosceles or scalene. Usually it's going to be isosceles, just as a heads up. Now, it says, all right, now find the area of the triangle. Well, I've got to do base times height divided by 2. So I've got to find the distance now of AC and AB and multiply those and then divide it by 2. So I'm going to take the square root of let's see. The nice thing is you've already done y minus y and x minus x up here, so you can just copy it for AC. In the same way with AB, negative 1 squared plus 2 squared. So I'm going to get the square root of, that's 36 plus 9, which is 45, times the square root of negative 1 squared plus 2 squared, which is 5. So then you would just multiply those. Square root of 45 times the square root of 5. And you should get 15 units squared as your answer. And that's how you find the area. Take base times height, right? And then don't forget, you're going to have to divide it by 2. So it's base times height divided by 2. So I need to divide this by 2, and I get 7.5 units squared. Okay? If you have any questions over that, just let me know. I know it's not the easiest part at the end there. Your assignment's a paper assignment. It's not too bad. There's a couple vertice problems on there. Those are the hard ones. Try your best on them, but again, if you have questions, please let me know because I just show up on the Hawks and you know how to do it. All right, have a good day, guys.